Take a moment to examine your palm carefully. Do you see a distinct letter M formed by your palm lines, or perhaps a moon-like crescent shape? If these markings are visible on your hand, this message was meant for you. Your presence here isn't random. Those bearing these ancient symbols often experience life with greater intensity, deeper challenges, and profound spiritual experiences. Perhaps you've never noticed these markings before today, but now that you're aware, you'll find them impossible to overlook. You possess qualities that make you truly unique. While you might dismiss this as a mere coincidence, I invite you to stay with me as I reveal why these palm markings represent far more than simple physical features. They contain powerful messages about your life's journey and your spiritual destiny. I'll explain the life phases you've likely experienced and why nothing in your path has been accidental. These markings appear on some from birth, while others discover them later in life. A profound sense of being different, feeling like outsiders in an ordinary world, unites all bearers of these symbols. From childhood, you've experienced emotions more deeply, overthought situations, and carried unexplained burdens. Even without understanding why, you've sensed something greater awaiting you. If this resonates with your experience, know that you're not alone. These palm markings are just the beginning of understanding your true nature. Ancient wisdom traditions, including Tibetan Buddhist monasteries, have long recognized these symbols as indicators of elevated consciousness, extraordinary sensitivity, and profound spiritual potential. Modern research is beginning to acknowledge that our bodies constantly communicate with us. When you learn to interpret what your palm reveals, your entire life story begins to make perfect sense, including those difficult periods you never fully understood. If this message has already stirred something within you, please like this video, subscribe to our channel for more transformative content, and comment below sharing your location. I'm curious to discover how far this message will travel and how many extraordinary individuals like yourself exist worldwide. We have much to explore together. Here's something crucial to understand immediately. In ancient Buddhist traditions, these markings, the clearly defined letter M or crescent moon shapes, weren't considered mere curiosities. They were recognized as spiritual indicators, signs that the soul carried different energy, a higher purpose, and uncommon sensitivity. These individuals were known as veil walkers, people living closer to universal consciousness, more attuned to invisible realms. You might think, but I've seen others with similar markings. They can't be that rare. This is where many people misunderstand the significance. While palm line variations are common, these specific formations, a well-defined letter M or a clear crescent moon, appear in only approximately 3 to 5% of the global population. That's roughly 3 to 5 people out of every 100. If you possess these markings, you're part of an extraordinary minority with a unique calling. This isn't about predetermined fate. Having these markings doesn't mean your life is already scripted. However, it does indicate you carry special potential, heightened sensitivity, clearer intuition, and stronger connection to unseen dimensions. When you align with this natural gift, answers emerge more easily, decisions become clearer, pain reveals its purpose, and seemingly blocked paths open unexpectedly. Those bearing the marked M or visible crescent moon aren't living ordinary lives. While outsiders might consider this exaggerated deep within your heart, you recognize the truth. These symbols reflect something profound, a spirit in advanced evolutionary stages. You are someone who has incarnated many times, learned extensively, taught others, and may now be approaching your final earthly incarnations. This isn't mere theory, it's ancient wisdom. Your life experiences provide the strongest evidence of this truth. Why your journey has been so challenging. Do you wonder why life often feels overwhelmingly difficult? When a spirit reaches this evolutionary point, it's no longer tested with minor challenges. Instead, it faces trials that truly matter, devastating losses that wound the soul, loves that depart too soon, families that reject you, friendships that betray trust, careers that suffocate your spirit, and dreams that remain tantalizingly out of reach. These experiences don't come as punishment. They arrive to determine your readiness, your understanding, your ability to see beyond immediate pain. It's as if the spiritual realm asks, do you truly desire awakening? Then let's discover how much you're willing to grow even when everything appears to crumble. This explains those overwhelming periods when multiple crises hit simultaneously. You lose someone dear, finances collapse, betrayals surface, yet you must continue smiling, working, and persevering. Inside, you scream silently, "Why is this happening to me?" The answer is simple, because you possess the strength to handle it. Only those who have evolved to this level can endure such trials and still choose goodness, compassion, and love. Perhaps you've experienced the pain of a marriage that lost its spark, where you fought alone while loneliness beside your partner felt worse than being alone. Maybe trusted friends, spouses, or family members betrayed you after you poured your heart into those relationships, only to receive the worst treatment in return. This pattern is remarkably common among those bearing the M or Crescent moon markings. Your deepest wounds might have come from family, distant parents, critical relatives, strained sibling relationships, or children you raised with endless love who now barely acknowledge you. You search for where you went wrong, having given everything, yet still carrying that persistent emptiness as if something essential is always missing. This is where many people lose hope, but not you. Even while bleeding internally, you continue rising. This resilience sets you apart from others. The challenges continue with repeated friendship disappointments. People who promised support vanished during your first difficulty. Others used you as their counselor, shoulder to cry on, and emotional support, but never asked about your well-being. Gradually you closed off, trusting less, expecting less. Yet deep inside, the pain throbs because you never wanted quantity. You sought authenticity and reciprocity. Eventually, you question yourself, am I the problem? It becomes difficult understanding how, despite your goodness, you attract so much pain. The truth is, you don't attract it. You endure it and transform it. Life presents you with greater challenges because it recognizes your inner strength, a strength you don't fully comprehend, developed through previous lifetimes, now needing reawakening. Your unique spiritual mission. Despite everything, you've tried fitting in, molding yourself to others' expectations, believing this is just how life is. But you've always known you were different. Since childhood, this sense of displacement has followed you. Superficial conversations exhaust you. Empty social gatherings bore you. Mindless consumerism irritates you. You find no pleasure in competition, don't cling to material possessions, appreciate silence, and value peace. The world seems to demand too much while offering too little in return. Yet something inside you has never extinguished, the search for deeper meaning, connection, and purpose. You've sought answers in books, spiritual practices, and therapeutic approaches. You've tried meditation, prayer, and mind-quieting techniques. Without knowing the specific name, you've been seeking truth, authentic spirituality, and belonging, because your spirit remembers this isn't your first earthly journey. Your presence here, watching this video, demonstrates your quest for profound knowledge, different from most people's shallow pursuits. This is where everything connects. Those carrying these palm markings aren't here to repeat old patterns. They're here to break them and awaken others. Awakening can be painful because it demands examining your wounds, recognizing repetitive patterns, releasing what no longer serves you, forgiving those who never asked forgiveness, continuing without applause, and listening to your soul while the world shouts conflicting messages. The trials you've experienced weren't punishments, they were training. Life doesn't challenge those who remain asleep. It awakens those ready for consciousness. You are ready, even if you don't feel it, even if you think you've passed your prime. If you've listened this far, your soul has recognized this calling. This calling doesn't originate externally. It comes from within, from the part of you remembering your true identity. Though your journey has been difficult, it has prepared you, making you sensitive, intuitive, and compassionate. It has made you genuinely strong in ways the world doesn't teach. You might consider yourself fragile or overly sensitive, but few people endure what those with these palm markings experience. Now all that pain begins making sense. Betrayal taught boundaries, loss taught detachment, loneliness taught self-listening, disappointment taught discernment. Every scar carries a message, every phase serves a purpose. Your palm markings aren't magical, but they're not coincidental either. They remind you that you've journeyed too far to become lost now, that you carry a mission unrelated to titles, status, or fame. Discovering your life purpose. If you have the letter M or crescent moon on your palm, you've noticed something inside that never grants you peace, a feeling that you haven't yet fulfilled your earthly purpose. A restlessness comes and goes, but always returns. No matter how often you change cities, jobs, or relationships, it remains with you. This persistence exists because that feeling is your mission, and it won't disappear until you declare, "I'm ready." Every mission is unique. Some came to heal through words, others through silence. Some came to teach, protect, nurture, or create. All these missions share the same starting point, awakening. Your mission isn't about achieving perfection or saving the world. It's about awakening and remembering your true nature. When this occurs, everything around you transforms because you begin vibrating at a different frequency. Stop for a moment, close your eyes and ask yourself, what is my calling? You'll sense an answer. It might not come in words, but as an image, memory, or feeling in your chest. It will come because deep within, you already know. You've always known. Since childhood, you've felt drawn toward something you couldn't explain. That something is your mission, attempting to remind you of your path. Want a clue? Examine the cycles that repeat in your life. Relationships following similar patterns. Problems changing names but maintaining the same core. Situations feeling like persecution but actually being lessons. The most painful patterns are precisely those you came to heal, not just within yourself, but in your bloodline, lineage, and personal history. When you break these patterns, you free much more than you imagine. For those with these markings, nothing is insignificant. Everything carries weight and purpose. You feel deeply because you came to transform deeply. You don't need to announce this to the world. You simply need to live it authentically. Missions aren't proclaimed, they're practiced. Sometimes through small gestures, sometimes through silent decisions, but always with awareness that your life isn't random, it has a profound purpose. Now that you know this truth, you can't pretend ignorance anymore. Stop, breathe, and observe. What is life trying to show you? What patterns are you repeating unconsciously? What can you do differently starting today? When you begin answering these questions honestly, your mission reveals itself and awakening begins. Awakening isn't about changing everything. It's about seeing everything with proper perspective. Signs your mission is complete. When you recognize your calling, even without knowing exactly how to implement it, the universe begins reorganizing itself. Everything that once felt burdensome starts revealing itself as part of a greater plan. Pain gains purpose, loss becomes liberation, and answers you sought externally begin emerging from within. Let me ask you something important. Has there been a period in your life when everything suddenly improved? When relationships became lighter? When you finally found someone who respects you? When family relationships became healthier? When money began flowing more easily? When you stopped sabotaging yourself so frequently? If so, you may have already fulfilled your mission and are now experiencing what follows: relief, lightness, spiritual reward, and preparation for the next dimensional plane. If you've endured the difficult situations mentioned earlier, but then experienced life improvements, finding genuine people, strengthening family bonds, or creating amazing friendships after betrayals, that's a significant sign. This doesn't mean your life will be perfect, but it indicates that inner knot of anguish that seemed permanent begins dissolving. You start seeing everything more clearly. The right people draw closer, the wrong ones drift away naturally. Most importantly, you finally feel positioned where you belong, even amid remaining challenges, because now you face them differently, with maturity, serenity, and presence. Conversely, if none of this has occurred yet, if you still feel burdened, stuck, trapped in repeating chapters, that also tells a story. It means your mission remains in progress and will only be fulfilled when you make the choices your soul has long requested. The day you courageously listen to that calling, everything changes. Not through magic, but through merit. Fulfilling your mission isn't about grand gestures. It's about making soul-aligned choices, breaking destructive patterns that have harmed you for years, forgiving those who never asked forgiveness, prioritizing yourself without guilt, saying enough to everything that diminished you. When you take these steps, doors open and you enter a new cycle where pain doesn't disappear but finally stops controlling you. The awakening process. This new cycle has clear indicators. You feel lighter. You experience peace even in solitude. You feel alive rather than merely existing. Most importantly, what once caused tremendous pain no longer carries the same weight. Completed missions leave marks, but also grant freedom. If you're currently living something like this, honor it. It's not luck. It's a response to your spiritual growth. If that moment hasn't arrived yet, remain calm because it comes to everyone willing to align with their true purpose. Regardless of age, history, or past mistakes, when you understand your repetitive patterns and decide to break cycles, mission fulfillment begins. Sometimes with pain, sometimes with silence, but always with truth. Only the truth leads to awakening. If you feel you're still mid-journey, continue forward. When your mission completes, you'll know because everything around you will confirm it. Life changes, your body changes, your heart changes, and you finally feel whole. You've arrived and no longer need to chase anything because what belongs to you begins finding you. The reality of spiritual awakening. Here's something nobody tells you about awakening. It doesn't happen during calm periods. It occurs amid chaos, confusion, pain, fear, and doubt. The soul begins awakening when life pushes you to your limits, when you look skyward asking, "Why me?" And answers never come from outside, they grow within. Spiritual awakening doesn't arrive with applause. It comes with silence, surrender, and release. Having the letter M or crescent moon on your palm doesn't exempt you from pain. It means you possess strength to transcend it. These markings only appear on those who have already endured much, who deep within know life encompasses more than bills, routines, and appearances. Those who sense something greater, even when everything appears small. But knowing this while continuing to live as if it's just another day is useless. Having these signs while going in circles, repeating patterns, accepting shallow relationships, and carrying pains that aren't even yours anymore serves no purpose. Eventually, the soul tires of waiting. That's when true awakening occurs, when you understand you can't keep postponing who you came to be. Yes, sometimes awakening hurts because it pulls you from comfort, breaks bonds, shatters illusions, and tears down walls you spent lifetimes constructing. But afterward comes peace, meaning, and renewal. You start feeling you're no longer in darkness. You finally understand the path. Even with distance remaining, you're no longer lost. Perhaps you're living exactly this phase now, feeling unable to continue as before, sensing everything pulling you toward a new cycle. That's precisely it. Don't ignore this feeling or suppress what you're experiencing. This restlessness is your spirit saying, it's time to awaken, time to stop surviving and start living authentically. If it's still difficult to understand where to begin, ask this simple question. What is my soul trying to tell me? It already knows, carrying memories from other lifetimes. With these palm markings, you can be certain you've traveled far and evolved significantly. Now you're very close to completion, very close to taking that missing step. You don't need perfection or to become a master teacher. You simply need to listen, allow, and trust. Awakening begins the moment you choose not to ignore who you truly are. That choice can happen today. Life after awakening. After awakening, nothing returns to its previous state. It's as if something inside finally breaks free, as if invisible chains holding you down disappear. You begin seeing the world in ways many around you still cannot. Conversations that once seemed normal now disturb you. Behaviors you previously tolerated now hurt you. Routines that seemed bearable now feel heavy. This isn't arrogance or ego, it's evolution. You've climbed a step, and what existed below no longer serves you. You'll feel urges for solitude, distance from certain people, lifestyle changes, even rethinking everything you believed was correct. This is acceptable. It's not crisis, it's alignment. Your soul begins reorganizing everything: relationships, priorities, desires, and wants. What's not in harmony with who you've become starts departing. This might hurt, but deep inside you feel it's necessary. Time to make space for what's new. Many expect awakening to bring immediate peace, but confrontation comes first. Confusion, exhaustion, strangeness. You feel somewhat lost inside, as if you've stopped being who you were, but don't yet know who you'll become. This is awakening's most sacred space, the middle path, the place between old and new, where everything seems to fall apart, but is actually being rebuilt on your truth's foundation. Then suddenly, you notice small miracles, new people approaching, clear ideas emerging, previously impossible opportunities appearing, increasing synchronicities. You think something and it manifests, you feel something and it's confirmed. The more you trust the process, the more life responds because you've stopped resisting and started flowing. You realize forcing is no longer necessary. Everything that's yours comes with greater ease. You don't need proving yourself to anyone. Those who understand you remain. Those who don't vibrate with you naturally drift away. This isn't loss. it's liberation. When the soul awakens, it no longer accepts anything that returns it to sleep. This becomes your life's guiding principle, not what seems right, but what keeps you awake. Your body changes, your gaze changes, your energy changes. You feel more complete, more present, more peaceful, even amid chaos. People around you notice, asking what you did, what changed. Maybe you can't even answer in words because it wasn't a course, guru, or magic formula. It was a choice. The choice to listen to what your soul had been shouting for so long. The choice to stop running away. Then you understand, awakening isn't the journey's end. It's the beginning of life with greater meaning, presence, and truth. You start attracting everything you've always dreamed of, not because you're chasing it, but because you're now ready to receive. You're vibrating at the frequency of your desires, so the universe begins delivering what was always yours. Your final incarnation. If you feel with absolute heart certainty that you've already awakened, then understand this. This life is no longer just a passing experience. It has become a closure, a spiritual cycle's completion. When the soul fully awakens, it doesn't return. It doesn't need to. It fulfilled its obligations, learned necessary lessons, lived required experiences, and can now progress to higher planes. True awakening isn't simply having more daily awareness. It's remembering who you are beyond the physical body. It's understanding that all of this, name, job, identification, appearance, is just the soul's temporary clothing. You've lived other lives, loved other people, experienced betrayal, healing, falling and rising so many times that pain has lost its power. What remains is wisdom. Wisdom no one can steal because it doesn't originate externally. It comes from soul experience. When this wisdom settles, everything transforms. Time no longer creates panic. Approval-seeking ends. Small conflicts become meaningless because you know all this will pass. What remains is your inner essence, the vibration you maintained, the peace you built through choices, your energetic signature that accompanies you even when the body doesn't. Many fear death, but truly awakened individuals no longer fear it because they know death isn't the end. It's transition, crossing, returning home. When this life concludes, you'll progress to another plane, lighter, subtler, more loving. A place where suffering has no space, where souls recognize each other by their light rather than appearance. Perhaps you're already feeling homesick for home without understanding why. Yes, there is a higher plane, not distant, but vibrating at different frequency. Awakened individuals begin accessing this plane while still alive through dreams, intuitions, and silent moments where everything makes sense. This provides glimpses of what awaits when the cycle closes, a place where fighting is unnecessary, where everything is learning without pain, evolution without punishment, love without attachment. Until then, your soul has remaining earthly work. Awakened individuals inspire simply by existing. You change environments and plant seeds in others' eyes. You activate dormant memories in those around you. You don't need to save anyone, but your presence can remind others that awakening is possible. This might be your final mission before departure. If you feel you've awakened, don't live halfway anymore. Don't hide or remain silent. Honor what you've become. When departure time comes, you'll leave peacefully with a light soul, fulfilled mission, and silent certainty that return isn't necessary. What needed accomplishment was achieved. You'll be prepared for the universe's best offerings in the new plane. If you've remained with me until now, it's because your soul recognized this calling. This isn't mere curiosity. It's resonance, memory, connection to something greater that perhaps even you can't explain, but you felt it. That's exactly what matters. Awakening doesn't begin with answers. It starts with feelings, with that shiver, that throat tightness, that silence making you think, what if this is true? So now I ask, if this video spoke to you, please leave a like. This helps content reach more people who, like you, are ready to remember their true identity. Subscribe to our channel for continued transformative messages, because this isn't about belief. It's about consciousness. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I want to know how far this message has traveled. Share this video with others who carry these markings, who have experienced too much, felt too deeply, who might need exactly this reminder. Sometimes we only need the truth spoken at the right moment to never fall back asleep inside again. Remember, if you carry these palm markings, you also carry a mission. The world needs you awake now more than ever.